Hello, I'm Saunders for Average Joes and welcome to our review of the brand new Mini. So let me set the scene for you. Last week I headed out on a one-way flight from rainy England to sunny Mallorca and the all-new Mini launch. Now I was going to drive it for a day or so in Mallorca and then it was on to the hard part. I was going to take this Mini Cooper S all the way from Mallorca back to the UK in just 5 days, travelling on a cool little route through Europe, through France, Spain, Luxembourg and Belgium on the way. But enough talking, let's see how I got on. So this is the Mini Cooper S, which is the model that packs the most punch out of the new range. 192 brake, 0 to 60 in just over 6.5 seconds and a top speed of 146 miles per hour. So let's talk briefly about a few of the changes between this 2014 model and the 2006 model. First of all, the design. The rear end has got a little bit more of a curve to it and it makes it a bit more sporty, a bit more sophisticated, and I'll be honest, it's a bit of a head turner. As for the inside, we've got a few improvements with the technology, the Mini Connected and the corresponding smartphone app that goes with it. A few extra switches here and there and a whole new lighting plan, which I'll go into detail a bit more later on. So one of the key features that's getting talked about with this new Mini hatch is the Mini Connected app and the way the app works with the car. What it is an app essentially that you connect with your phone, of course, and then you connect it with the car. So it means you can access things like your Twitter and your Facebook and your news feed that comes up on the screen. Now, I don't know how safe that is, but I think Mini have ironed it out quite well, and it works on a sort of template basis. So you set preset templates on Twitter and you can click them and select them like you would a previous destination on a sat-nav. There's an extra 51 litres of space in the boot in this model, which, just to put into perspective, is an extra cabin bag for the aeroplane when you go on holiday. So, due to the nature of this trip, we've got a lot of driving to do through Europe, which means a lot of auto routes, a lot of motorway driving. So we need to kind of think of things that make it a little bit more exciting, make it a bit more, fun to drive, and test the Mini out to see all the things it can do. And these are things that we can do, we can make up, but why do that when Mini have done it for you? Because they have got some features in Mini Connected, that app I've already talked about, that makes this journey a little bit more fun. So if I go through to Mini Connected onto the screen and go through to Mission Control, and then hopefully, if this works...
Welcome to Mission Control. I am Coach, and together with Engine and Climate, we will support you in all relevant areas throughout our ride. We show you what driving a Mini is all about. Are you ready? Good.
Yeah.
And never forget, be Mini.
Never forget, be Mini. So hopefully now if I do anything different with the car, such as change the climate control, it should speak to me. So let's give it a go.
Some heat. How sweet. This is just great.
Wow, Climate, you're really a poet. Or not.
Oh my god, hilarious, right? How can that ever get old? How will that ever get old? It will never get old.
Now, so it just spins around and around.
Thank you for the info, Climate. The greatest benefit is that we avoid the exhaust from those other cars.
While it's dark, I just thought I'd want to talk a little bit about what this Mini is like in the dark, because it is rather special. Now, the new shape around the rear, which you'll see in the video, is different and it is more attractive. And it does turn a few heads in the day, but at night, the way the light reflects to this car attracts a lot more attention than it does in the day. Obviously, being a Mini Cooper S, it has a little bit more under the bonnet than the standard Mini Cooper or the Mini 1, definitely. Now, I'm not saying this rivals with anything, say a Lamborghini or a Porsche or anything like that, but perhaps more modestly, it will put up a fight with, say, an Audi hatchback. And this is really useful driving in French autoroutes like I have been for the last few days, because the speed limit changes more frequently than the Chelsea Manager. So after the excessive mileage I've done with this car travelling through Europe, there are a few things that have stood out as my favourite parts of the car. Although, yeah, there isn't a lot to look at in the cabin, there isn't anything else you need. It functions, it does everything you could want it to, and there's buttons for everything that you need it to do, and nothing, you know, over the top. There's no unnecessary things to press. Everything you need is right there and nothing more, which is perfect. Final point is that wherever I've travelled through Europe, be it some of the more affluent countries such as Luxembourg, where the average salary is one of the highest in Europe, people are driving around in Mercedes and Porsches and so on. Not once have I ever felt out of place or inferior driving this car. So call it romanticism, or maybe it's because I haven't driven anything else for the last 6 days, but I've become quite attached to this car, and I would happily, actually I would proudly own one myself. And the whole gender argument you get with Mini, I just don't find that relevant in this car at all. In fact, I'd go as far as saying that the 2014 Mini Cooper, or the Mini Cooper S, which I've been driving, is actually the most masculine model they've probably ever made. So I've come to the end of my journey with the new Mini. I've driven it over 1,000 miles from the coast of Mallorca to here in Dunkirk, which I thought was a fitting place to bring it and end the journey, considering the historical connection that Dunkirk and Mini share with Britain. And for those naysayers that say Mini's lost that connection over the years, especially being owned by a German company, I'll say this, that the entire Mini production network is still solely based in the UK, and 1 in 5 cars made in Britain still wears a Mini badge. All that leaves me to say now is I've been Saunders from Average Joe's. Please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.